I'm Randy with Metabo Corporation. Today I'm here to give you a little information on power tool safety. We're going to focus today on angle grinders that are commonly used in your line of work. The purpose of this information is to simply educate you on how to reduce the risk of injury to yourself and others around you while using angle grinders and accessories, including the very popular Type 1 cutoff wheel, also known as the slicer wheel. To begin, let's take a look at a simple metaphor. This hanger was designed way back in 1869, and it does a great job of hanging up these greens. However, like an angle grinder, if you alter this tool, like for instance, you take a handle off a grinder, or you take the guard off the grinder, or you put an oversized wheel like a 6-inch grinding wheel on a 4.5-inch grinder, what you're left with is a piece of junk, something that can potentially be dangerous and hazardous to those around you. So always use the accessories that are provided with the tool at the time of purchase and never alter the tool. Also be sure to match up the diameter of the grinding wheel or slicer wheel with the diameter of the grinder. Safety risks aren't yours to take. You're not the only one who will suffer from your mistake. So the question arises, are angle grinders safe? The answer is yes, if you know and put into practice the following. Do you know how the tool operates? For example, do you know which direction the wheel is turning on your grinder and at what RPM? Do you have the correct accessory for the application? For instance, what's the difference between a grinding wheel and a slicer wheel? And does the max RPM rating on the wheel match up to the max RPM rating on the grinder? Do you have the correct tool for the application? For instance, if you are trying to grind or cut in a confined space or a hard-to-reach position, there are several options to accomplish this task. We've seen many unsafe methods out there in the field, such as taking a 7-inch wheel, spinning it on a 4.5-inch grinder to reach a position that you couldn't get to normally. This is extremely unsafe. Some options that are available to get into those tight spots: die grinders or pencil grinders. Other options, die grinders with a flex shaft to get into those tight spots. Another option, a flathead grinder to get into those tight spots where a normal grinder can't reach. Do you understand the purpose of the parts that were included in the box with the tool? We'll go into those in a little bit more detail. Do you know what PPE is required by your employer, and do you always comply? Most companies require wearing hearing protection, safety glasses, a face shield, gloves, and a flame-resistant shirt, long-sleeve shirt. If you answered yes, we are off to a good start. But in order for the angle grinder to be used safely, you will need to also be aware of the potential risks of 1. Sudden kickback, 2. Flying debris, 3. Combustibles or flammables within your work area, 4. The danger of extended periods of loud noise exposure, 5. The often overlooked danger of vibration or repetitive strain injury, also known as RSI, which can cause white finger syndrome. We will come back to each of these a bit later. So who is at most risk of an injury by a power tool? While every operator is at risk, we see the most accidents in inexperienced users and/or overly confident veterans. It is crucial to stay focused on the job at hand and expect the unexpected at all times. Some suggestions to help you stay focused would be: turn off your phone or your mobile device so that you're not distracted. If you were too tired or you're tired at that moment and losing focus, take a break and refocus. If you have an altered state of mind, such as a stressor that you have maybe brought to work from home that's causing you to lose focus, take a break and refocus. If you or someone around you seems to be intoxicated, stop working and get the proper help from your management. If you see something suspicious, say something. Don't regret it later. Make sure to peer check those around you to assure their proper PPE is being worn for your safety and theirs. Have the courage to coach other workers to ensure the safety of everyone around you. Okay, confession time. Who has been injured by a power tool? I would venture to say that all of us at some point have been injured by a power tool, if you take into consideration that a hammer or a wrench is also considered a power tool. Remember, a power tool is a device that makes a job easier versus the hand alone. I assume we all at some point have ended up with a black fingernail from a mishit with a hammer. What was the reason for that mishit? Why couldn't you get your hand out of the way? If you guessed reaction time, you are correct. Now let's consider a 6-inch grinder spinning a wheel at 9,600 RPM, or nearly 180 miles an hour. Will you be able to react fast enough to get out of the way of this tool? Not a chance. The good news is, with the modern day power tools of some manufacturers, we've designed the corded and cordless angle grinders to help you manage and keep control of the tool, as well as deflect abrasive debris away from you and others around you, if you understand the complete system and follow some simple rules. We'll begin with one of the most common hazards referred to as kickback. Kickback from a power tool is a result of simple physics. You spin a wheel at 180 miles an hour and you bring it to an unexpected and immediate stop by the material being cut. We call that binding. And the law of equal and opposite reaction will cause that tool to kick back at that same 180 miles an hour. Or the force will also cause the wheel to fracture and come apart. In the following demonstration, you will see we have 3 different grinders that we engage into a piece of steel. There is a person off the screen to the far right who lifts up on the piece of steel, creating a bind, which imitates what should be a kickback event. The first 2 grinders in this demonstration are designed using an electronic shutdown, which, as you will see, does not prevent kickback, and or the wheel will break apart, throwing shrapnel across the room. You will notice that in order to truly prevent kickback, you should make sure that your tool has a mechanical slip clutch that is set to a specific and safe torque level, such as the 3rd tool in this demonstration. Notice the user controls the tool and the wheel stays intact. Please notice that in order to get the clutches to engage in these tools, you must have 2 hands on the grinder at all times and be prepared for the unexpected binding. The handle that is provided with your grinder must be installed and used during operation. We hear different reasons why handles are taken off grinders and or just never put on grinders. The main excuse that we hear is that the handle gets in the way of the job that's being done. Fortunately, manufacturers have come up with a way to create a multi-positional handle which will allow you to put this handle in infinite positions along the grinder to get it out of the way. One of the positions we find that guys will use this in for cutting all day is the 90-degree position. You'll notice that it's at 90 degrees and off the hip you can make cuts all day comfortably versus being in an awkward position. Another new safety feature that is available in angle grinders is a mechanical disc brake that will stop a slicer wheel in less than 1 second. In the event that you might lose control of the tool, this safety feature, as you can see, will help to prevent a serious injury from occurring by stopping the accessory quickly. If, after using an angle grinder for a period of time, you might feel a tingling in your arms and hands, over a period of time, this can cause permanent nerve damage, which is referred to as a repetitive strain injury, or RSI. Over time, hand-arm vibration syndrome, or HAVS, also known as white finger syndrome, can develop, which is a permanent and potentially debilitating disease where blood flow is restricted to your fingers and your arms, which can cause pain and numbness. To help in preventing this from occurring, we encourage you to use a grinder that has an auto balance feature as well as an anti-vibration handle, which you will see in this video greatly reduces the vibration that is transferred from the tool to your hands and arms. When you are changing accessories on your grinder, it is important that you remember to either unplug or, if it's cordless, disengage the battery from the tool so that the tool does not unexpectedly get turned on while your hand and or other body parts are most vulnerable. When you are using a power tool, it is vitally important not to overreach to get the job done. We are often asked, what is the proper stance I should be in while grinding or cutting? We recommend for you to be standing in the most comfortable position for you that is well balanced and an athletic position where you do not have to remove a hand from the tool. So, up and to the right, up and to the left, down to the right, down and to the left, anywhere in between here is considered your personal safety strike zone. That's what we recommend when cutting and grinding. Always stay in a balanced and athletic position to keep the tool within your strike zone so that you're ready for any unexpected binding. Another often overlooked issue is securing your work. Please make sure to use your proper vices and clamps to secure the work so that you don't create an unexpected bind in the piece that you are working on. Always work in a clean, dry, and well-lit environment to help prevent tripping and or electrocution. It is also important to use a double insulated plug end with tools that have the double square on the tool label. And make sure your outlet is also grounded. Never alter the manufacturer's plug end, as this not only could cause electrocution, but it also avoids any warranty claims by most manufacturers. It is also important to use an extension cord of proper gauge and length, which varies depending on the amp rating of the tool that you're using. See your owner's manual for these recommendations or call the manufacturer. When it comes to the proper guarding, make sure you have the appropriate guarding in place at all times, and make sure the guard is always between the spinning accessory and you. For instance, you want this guard to be between the accessory and you. You never want the accessory to be between you and the guard on the other side. You will notice that the Type 27 guard has an open face on the bottom with a slight lip. This is a Type 27 guard, and most grinders come with just the Type 27 guard. There are options available out there for a Type 1 guard. This is a Type 1 guard that has a complete bottom side to it as well. When you're using a Type 1 wheel, which is a true flat cutoff wheel or slicer wheel, this type of guard, Type 1 guard, must be in place. We do have an option available to convert your existing Type 27 guard by simply sliding over a clip-on guard over the existing Type 27 guard. It will pop into place, and then you're set with the Type 1 guard, and you're compliant. This is an ANSI standard that is often overlooked by operators, and you should be aware of the differences. Type 1 wheels are never intended for grinding. They are specifically designed for cutting. You will, however, find Type 27 slicer wheels that are also only intended for cutting. It is important to know whether you are using a grinding wheel or a slicer wheel. There are several options currently available that are designed to do both. These are called combinator wheels, designed to cut and grind. You're able to do so with the extra layer of fiberglass that reinforces them. Last, but certainly not least, please inspect your accessories before installing them on your grinder. A simple crack in a grinding wheel or a slicer wheel can send shrapnel flying across the room before you are even aware something has gone wrong. We recommend that after visually inspecting your wheel, that you run it at no load, down and away from yourself and other users for a period of 60 seconds to test the wheel. If you feel the wheel has any kind of crazy vibration, it may be time to get a new wheel, request a new wheel, and discard that wheel that is vibrating excessively. In closing, remember to follow your company's safety management rules, and always remember to expect the unexpected while using these tools. By following some of these simple rules we went over today, you will greatly reduce the risk of injury to yourself and the others around you. Thank you for your time, and remember to always work safe.